All right, let's dive right in. For decades, we've basically thought of a medical X-ray as a single static snapshot in time, just a frozen moment. But what if bedside X-rays could actually capture motion? What if, instead of just looking at a flat, static picture of a patient's chest, you could literally watch their lungs and diaphragm moving, right there at their bedside? Well, welcome to our explainer today, because that what if is already here.
Today, we're breaking down a truly fascinating piece of technology, the AeroDR TXM01 mobile X-ray system. By digging into the technical blueprints of this system, we're going to see how it's fundamentally rewriting the rulebook for what we consider possible in bedside care. It's essentially the ultimate enabler for medical heroes on the front lines, and we're going to see exactly how the whole shebang works.
So here is our roadmap for the explainer today. We'll be hitting 5 key areas: the mobile imaging revolution, dynamic digital radiography, agility and seamless workflow, built for hospital realities, and finally, smarter image processing. Let's get to it.
Section 1. The mobile imaging revolution. It's time to fundamentally rethink the limits of mobile imaging, shifting from just basic emergency stopgaps to advanced, comprehensive bedside diagnostics.
Moving right into Section 2, Dynamic Digital Radiography. This is the core breakthrough that takes us out of the static world and into the dynamic reality of the human body.
So what exactly is dynamic digital radiography, or DDR? Well, it works by transmitting a sequence of pulsed X-rays to display a series of static images at an absolutely incredible 15 frames per second. By linking these frames together smoothly, it successfully visualizes structural motion. Just think about that for a second. You aren't just getting an image anymore, you're getting a continuous visual sequence showing exactly how internal structures are behaving in real time. It's a real game changer.
The clinical advantage here over conventional static images is crystal clear. Medical staff can now visualize the actual motion of lungs and diaphragms without any patient transport. For critically ill ICU patients, moving them down to a radiology wing is incredibly dangerous. But with this technology, physicians get a dynamic view of pulmonary function without the patient ever leaving their bed. That provides so much more context than a conventional static image ever could.
Section 3. Agility and seamless workflow. Because let's be real, a machine's diagnostic power means absolutely nothing if it's too clunky to use in a cramped space.
Check out this remarkably compact width, just 540 millimeters. To put that into perspective, that's just a little over half a meter wide. If you've ever tried to navigate the tight corridors of a bustling ICU, or tried to squeeze heavy equipment between IV poles, monitors, and a bed, you know 540 millimeters is incredibly narrow. It lets this unit easily access spots that older, bulkier machines simply couldn't squeeze into.
And that compact base? It contrasts perfectly with a massive reach of 1,220 millimeters. The 4-step telescopic arm can extend incredibly far, and the column can even rotate up to 317 degrees, meaning it reaches out to cover virtually any bed setup imaginable. You don't have to awkwardly rustle the heavy base unit right up against the patient. You just park it conveniently and let that massive arm do the reaching for you.
The operational steps build perfectly on that zero-friction workflow. Step 1. Simply touch the handle to release the electromagnetic brake. No heavy, clunky levers, literally just a touch. Step 2. You control independent wheel movement via a switch right on the hand grip for those tiny, fine-tuned positioning tweaks. And Step 3. Adjust your exposure settings right there on a second touchscreen located on the head assembly itself. The technologist doesn't have to keep walking back and forth to the main console. They just glide and operate the machine with totally effortless precision.
And this brings us to an absolutely incredible feature for the operators: alignment support. This system actively helps you position the X-ray tube and the detector. The pitch angles for both are displayed, and when they match perfectly during a DDR exposure, they light up in matching colors. It gives you this intuitive, at-a-glance confirmation. Actually, it directly reduces the cognitive load for overworked technologists during those chaotic high-pressure shifts, ensuring they nail a perfect angle quickly without any guesswork.
Section 4. Built for hospital realities. Diagnostics are delicate, for sure, but the tools used to capture them, they get bumped, dropped, and put through the ringer.
The detector panel uses what Konica Minolta calls a super Monaco housing structure. It features enhanced waterproof packing and a seamless laminated structure for serious durability. But honestly, the most brilliant practical part is the grip design. They've engineered these 2 to 4 millimeter depressions right into the backside panel. This specifically helps prevent technologists' fingers from getting caught or pinched when sliding the panel under a heavy patient. It's a small ergonomic detail, but it solves a massive daily headache for medical staff.
Okay, prepare to be a little surprised by this next spec. 1.0 meter. The Aero DR3 panel actually sustains IPX6 waterproof compliance even after a 1.0 meter drop directly onto a concrete floor. Think about that. You can drop this highly sensitive digital detector 3 feet onto hard concrete, and its internal structure is so resilient that the waterproof seals stay completely intact, stopping any liquids from damaging the main components. You just do not see that level of ruggedness in standard medical imaging equipment.
Furthermore, the enclosure is built with permanent antibacterial carbon infused with silver agents, and the absolute keyword here is permanent. The antibacterial properties will not deteriorate over time, and because they are literally incorporated into the enclosure materials, they won't scratch off during daily use. In the ICU, preventing nosocomial or hospital-acquired infections is absolutely critical. Having a detector surface that actively suppresses bacterial propagation day in and day out, that's a vital layer of patient protection.
Section 5. Smarter image processing. Because the hardware is really only half the story here. The intelligent software running behind the scenes is what ultimately removes the physical burdens.
Traditionally, getting a clear image without scattered radiation meant carrying and precisely placing heavy, physical lead grids over the detector. It's an exhausting hassle. But this system uses intelligent grid image processing that entirely replaces the need for that physical grid. It computationally improves the contrast affected by scattered radiation, offering parameters mimicking physical grid ratios from 3:1 all the way up to 12:1. The operator gets a pristine image without ever having to lug a heavy grid into the room.
And the CS7 software does something even more crucial for patient safety. It has a specific enhancement that actually highlights tube and gauze images that are ordinarily super difficult to detect with normal X-rays. In a post-surgical setting, ensuring that no medical gauze has been left behind and verifying the exact placement of very fine medical tubes, that can be incredibly tough on a standard scan. By computationally enhancing these specific materials, the software adds a massive safety net to the recovery process.
Which brings us to our final thought today. If mobile imaging can do all this right at the bedside, capturing actual structural motion, navigating tight ICU spaces with effortless agility, surviving the harsh physical demands of a hospital, and computationally revealing the hidden, how will it reshape the future of patient recovery? This tech proves that a bedside X-ray doesn't just take pictures anymore. It actively empowers our medical staff, removes the friction from their incredibly difficult jobs, and ultimately transforms the standard of patient care. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Until next time, keep questioning what's possible and keep learning.